third dimension.
This is 3D or 2D.com's Duh 3D Show.
Put on your 3D glasses now.
If you're wondering what the 3D stand for, they are discussion, debate, and the news. We hope that you enjoy the show. Get it? The show?
Duh.
Welcome to episode 80. This is Adolph Vega, and I have a packed crew today. I have Mr. Jake Jarvis.
Hello there.
I have Mr. James Tate.
Here.
And I have Miss Kristen Strom.
Hello. You got my name wrong again.
You always get your name wrong. Krista it is. Alright, so we got a ton of topics and a huge amount of things to talk about. So what do you want to start with, Krista?
Well, I think we can start with the Addams Family 2018 trailer. Or 2019 trailer.
Yeah, 2019. So it's an animated trailer. It came out this week, and I like it. I like it a lot.
Maybe it will be Hotel Transylvania.
That was my thought.
I don't have a lot of experience with the original Addams Family.
Okay. I'm a very big fan of Charles Addams's cartoons.
Well, what did you think about the ones that were like in the 90s? Those two. I think it was two, right?
I think it was three, actually.
Yeah.
3 or 4. But the third and fourth one are terrible.
I didn't think any of them were particularly great.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
the 60s show, I only thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
It's always been one of those series for me that's always been just kind of, there. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah.
I always blew up when they had fights like who's better, the Addams Family or the Munsters? I would blow up the argument by saying, well, neither TV show was particularly great.
I would definitely vote for Addams Family, though.
Yeah, neither one was lived up to their potential. With the Addams Family, even Charles Addams admitted it was a shameless cash grab. All he had to do for the TV show was give his characters names, because the cartoons he did, they never had names.
Yeah, here's the thing. I think out of a bunch of other series and the adaptations, Addams Family is one of those ones that you could probably do whatever with. Like, you could make a new cartoon, you could make a new, show, you could do whatever you want with it because it's kind of a clean slate. So that's something that they kind of have going for them. It's like, it's a lot harder to do something new for, like, let's say Ghostbusters or Back to the Future or, things that are iconic and have like things, brands that have a specific nostalgic era place to them. You know what I mean? Like they're known for being that came out in this decade and this year with this style. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, with the Addams Family, they're kind of forgotten. Because when Charles Addams, at one time, between the 1930s and the 1980s, he was one of America's favorite cartoonists. His cartoons ran in the New Yorker. Almost everybody I know who subscribed to the New Yorker did so for his cartoons. He occasionally did cartoons for Collier's, and he would sometimes do artwork for other people. And there's tons of collected editions of his cartoons. I think there's at least a dozen Addams Family books that collect his New Yorker cartoons. But like I said, since his death, it just seems like everybody's pretty much forgotten him, and even forget that the Addams Family were based on one of the parts of his New Yorker cartoons. The only difference is his cartoons were like a single frame. They were always black and white, which is why the TV show was black and white.
Yeah.
And they didn't do anything in color with him until after he died, because he wouldn't approve it.
Now, Krista, what about this trailer? What do you think of this actual trailer?
I don't really know what, like, there wasn't like much like plot given in the trailer. It was just kind of like establishing that it was a movie about the Addams Family. But which, like, I feel like I already know about the Addams Family. So, I mean, I think it was kind of a nice, like, nod that they had at the beginning, they had, this is an average family and this is an average family. And they have, like, a bunch of different, like, representations of a family. Because the cool thing about the Addams Family, when, like, the TV show first came out, is it was really what it was like a representation of what family life actually was like, compared to like the sanitized, 50s I Love Lucy style
Leave it to be
family life on television that wasn't really accurate to how real people lived. And the Addams Family was much more like an actual family. So I thought that was a neat nod to that history.
Now, the art style in this is a little bit weird. I'm not a big fan of how Wednesday looks. She has a really pointy head. I think the rest of them look fine, except for Wednesday. What do you guys think?
Okay, they just went too literal based on Charles Addams' designs. They tried to take his 2D artwork, which was more defined. They tried to make three-dimensional shapes of his two-dimensional line work, and without the lines, of course, because it is a 3D animation. And I just thought they were way too literal. I think they would have been better served using the 60s show actors more, and the kind of a mix between them and the 90s movies. I think they would have been better served for a 3D effect instead of trying to do 3D versions of 2D cartoons. Because Uncle Fester looked even worse than Wednesday.
Yeah, I'll agree to that.
True.
Now, I do like the theme song. It's very iconic. Everyone's snapping, and it looks all right. I mean, it does something that makes sense. You joked around about it, Hotel Transylvania, but Hotel Transylvania is more of a copy of this than this is a copy of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the thing that kind of kicked off the whole sick humor thing in the 60s, and you had the Munsters and Famous Monster magazine and all that stuff. But it was Charles Addams' cartoons that kind of led the pack.
Okay. Well, I will defend the movie, the 90s movies, at least the first two. I do like them. I do dig them. But the other ones about, like, tennis, it's just bad. And then the one about baby.
When they had animated cartoon series and stuff. I mean, it's not all bad, but it's kind of like, I kind of feel the same way about the Peanuts TV specials and stuff. I mean, the only one I feel is like really worthy is Charlie Brown Christmas, The rest of them are kind of they just don't live up to Charles Schulz's cartoons.
Okay, I think it's pretty good. James, what do you want to talk about next?
How about we talk about The Lion King then?
So we got an official trailer for it, and it is the CG creatures, but in live action environments.
Mm-hmm.
Lion King, and this one looks like it's a very, very conservative, basic copy and paste remake of Lion King animated, which is, animated is a classic, but for me at least, maybe too conservative, maybe.
I think Simba looks fine. I think Scar looks really weird and like nothing like the original Scar, and it just threw me so off balance.
Yeah.
I just kind of looked at this and said, you got a long ways to go if you're gonna be as good as the Jungle Book Disney remake.
Now, so we have a lot of remakes, and Krista and I reviewed Dumbo, and Dumbo is dramatically different from the original, and Jungle Book is 80% the same as the original. What do you think, Jake? Is that about right? Maybe 75%?
Yeah. Well, Jungle Book has got a lot longer because it was even made before Disney, so it's like one of those things they weren't really going to mess with it too much.
So Dumbo is like 30% the same movie. So this looks more like 95% the same, just with CG. James, what do you think of the original Lion King?
I like it. It's Hamlet. It's okay. It's good. I mean, my favorite 90s movie is probably, I like Aladdin. But that's another story.
We'll get to Aladdin later this summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
but yeah, it's okay. I like it.
So the one thing I worry about with this is that without giving away spoilers for a 20-year-old movie, the really, really sad scene that was really, really sad in the cartoon, and seeing that in live action may be very much darker and bloody, and that's going to be hard to do.
That's true. I don't know how they're going to do that and not have it be like incredibly gruesome, because in the cartoon, like, you really didn't have to, like, there was no blood or anything. But when they're going for a realistic vibe, how are they going to do that and still have it be like meant for kids? Even though it kind of isn't really meant for kids, it's really marketed to the people who were kids when the original came out.
So we'll see. It's gonna be interesting how they actually pull this off.
Yeah.
So Jake, what do you want to talk about next?
Well, I guess we can talk about The Secret Life of Pets 2.
Okay, so this trailer, who else saw this?
I've seen a couple of things for Secret Life of Pets, so I've probably seen it, and it's all kind of blurred in my head, because other than having having Patton Oswalt instead of T.J. Miller, it just seems to be pretty much more of the same from the first one.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem new to me. It doesn't seem different.
Nothing about it really interests me or catches, like I never really got into it.
It's like, okay, so the rabbit thinks he's superpowered. Okay, cool, I guess. And
yeah.
It just seems unnecessary of a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm not too excited about this movie at all.
Yeah, it just seems like more of the same. And this is why 3D is dying.
All right, so let's go to a big topic here. Not too big, actually. Something fun. Since I have James on the line, what are your thoughts on Labo VR and that Labo VR is going to have Zelda and Mario usage soon?
You mean cardboard?
Yeah.
Stupid.
So
no one wants cardboard. It's a joke. Everyone makes fun of it.
So, just in case you weren't aware, Nintendo revealed Labo, which is this cardboard that you used with the Switch, and they introduced a new VR element, which just released this couple days ago. And now they're going to have two of their major Nintendo Switch games have VR usage, which is Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Super Mario Odyssey, two really big Nintendo games, and they're going to shoehorn VR into them, which is kind of interesting that they're going to do that. It's interesting that they're going to do that for just how the gameplay, but to basically put a game that wasn't VR into VR mode now is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it seems stupid.
So what is this basically going to be? You take your cell phone, shove it in a piece of cardboard that's cut with little arms to put behind your ears, and then you put it on your face?
Yes.
Basically.
Okay. So basically, if you've spent all your money on a Switch and all you can afford is a prepaid phone, you're completely screwed.
Well, okay, you don't use your phone, you use the Switch screen. You put that into the cardboard, and then it comes with the goggles you put in there, and then you get to see on the screen. And apparently the VR part is very basic, because the screen is kind of not great. So I don't know how they're going to retrofit two big games to work it. But it's really interesting that they're going to go that far. And, Breath of the Wild is a huge game, and that would definitely look great in VR. If that's going to be in 3D, that's going to be really interesting to be able to have a big open world to look around in and play in. But how is it going to actually work? Like, is it going to run just as well as it does now, or is it going to be really slow,
I mean, I feel like if they're going to do VR, they should full on go VR instead of just doing it for a dinky little thing.
Which this basically is. It's, I've seen an early review of it, and they did say that they liked it. It's really silly, really fun for kids, but it's not hard and super VR like other, PlayStation VR. It's just kind of a fun gimmick, that you play for 5 minutes and you're like, okay, that was fun. Let's play the next mini game. Okay, 5 minutes later, okay, let's play the next mini game. And you have 100 mini games to play,
I think what's going to happen is that it's not going to be successful, and then people are going to use it as a reason to be like, oh, VR sucks. VR's not going to work, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, it's kind of expensive. It's $50 to get it. And then you have to have the Switch and have the games, so I'm kind of tempted to get it, but I kind of, don't want to waste the money on that,
Yeah.
So, yeah. Krista, what do you want to talk about next?
We can talk about Captain Marvel hitting $1 billion in the box office.
That's crazy. I was not expecting it to hit $1 billion this quickly. It's just been a huge hit.
Yeah.
The money machine. Slap Marvel on the title. It's gonna make $1 billion.
Yeah, this is the 7th Marvel movie to hit $1 billion.
Yeah.
What I'm worried about is with Disney buying up Disney buying up so much stuff and owning so much of Hollywood and spending so much money to do so. I'm just worried that they're going to go, oh, we're only going to make movies we think will make $1 billion.
Well, this honestly, because I didn't think Captain Marvel was that great, I was kind of hoping that it wouldn't do as well, so that maybe that they would think about the quality. But the worst part is that with just every one of their movies making billions of dollars, it just tells them that no matter what they put out, no matter what quality it is, it's still going to make a lot of money. And that's really bad.
Krista, have you seen Captain Marvel?
No, I did not see Captain Marvel. I'm familiar with the basics of it.
It's kind of just shocking because, like, for me, you know, I'm not as negative as James is on the movie, but I don't think it's a great movie either. And it is just kind of like, not every single one of these movies need to be $1 billion. They could be, you know, still be successful and be 500,000, and you know, and still be totally fine. So, you know, if there's a next movie, you know, that doesn't make $1 billion, is that going to be a flop now? That's not sustainable.
Yeah. Well, I think like we're already at the point where, like, if a movie doesn't make like hundreds of millions of dollars, they're like, well, that movie sucked, even though it's a massive amount of money to like even conceptualize.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As I was trying to get at, though, it's like by all the movies making a bunch of money, it sets a bad precedent for like the quality department.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Ant-Man and the Wasp is already now being retroactively being talked about like it's a flop.
Yeah.
Because it didn't make $1 billion. And they go, is it a third movie because it flopped? And I'm like going, dude.
Yeah, that's
in profit.
Really, yeah.
I mean, it's in profit. And then they talk about Aaliyah Battle Angel as being this supermassive flop. Even though they are talking a sequel still. I mean, Mortal Engines is a flop on every level, financial, artistically.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a real dreary film experience.
Man, like, it really is kind of a dark age for movies.
Yeah, if
well, that's what happens when you get like a monopoly of like 3 companies that control all of media.
Yeah, we're down to what? Yeah, because we're down a major studio.
Oh yeah, we're only a couple steps away from Disney owning everything.
Yeah,
the Fox merger.
Yeah. And there's been rumors that Netflix is shopping for a studio.
Oh.
So are they going to buy Sony, or are they going to buy Paramount, or are they going to buy Universal?
Oh my gosh. Just really, really bad.
Mm-hmm. And AT&T just bought Warner Brothers recently, just years back.
Oh.
It's like there's so many problems that come from having an oligopoly. Like, it's not a true monopoly, but it's still like, these studios are all like patting each other on the back, and like they're all like basically like the mob preventing anyone else from getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. They also like, the worst part is that, not only are there only a couple people who are really competing, it's like they don't really, they're all working together behind the scenes. Who cares? It's all bad. That's all I'm saying. It's just breaking $1 billion and not being a really good film, and now other films are being considered a flop because they didn't make $1 billion. It's like, man. And the worst part is about that is that realistically speaking, okay, you could argue, yes, if a film does bad, they're going to lose money. But at this point, it's like they make so much money on other movies. How many bombs is it going to take for like the company to actually suffer? I don't think, like, if you were to do the math, I mean, how many Captain Marvel movies could they make with the budget that they got back? You see what I'm trying to say?
Well, it's like a numbers game. If you make 10 movies and like 8 of them make a profit and like 2 of them suck, they're still going to be able to get away with making those couple of movies that suck.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, I'm not saying Captain Marvel is one of those movies. I actually think, just from what I've been hearing, I think like part of your problem with it might be actually just the fact that it's not really targeted at you as much as it's targeted at women.
So
I mean, it didn't have an arc. That was the problem with the movie. But yeah.
Okay, so I guess in a way it could be good that how to put this, that if Captain Marvel made enough money, then there's not as much pressure for other movies, maybe to balance out. If Doctor Strange 2 doesn't make $500 million, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it may be a benefit that way.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like part of the reason that it made so much money is because people have been begging for like female-led superhero movies, and like besides Wonder Woman, like there haven't really been any.
Yeah, that is I mean, yeah, there were a few in the 90s, I mean, but they were absolute trash. I mean, Barbed Wire, Elektra, these are, think what else?
Catwoman.
Yeah, they were Supergirl. These were terrible, terrible movies.
Well, like, see, like the thing is, like, there's so many like male-led movies that like you can like have the same like how do I phrase this? Like, women are willing to accept mediocre movies that are led by women because it's all they have.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the thing with Carol Danvers is her story is just so convoluted. I'm surprised they got anything coherent on the screen. Trying to be faithful to the source material. I mean, that's why I gave it part of the score I gave it. And there was a lot of stuff going for it, I felt. But, I mean, to me, Captain Marvel was more of a Nick Fury
movie.
Origin movie.
Yeah, Nick Fury origin. And, I didn't... Yeah, it's just not good.
All right, so let's go after Terminator 3.
Oh, Terminator 3, because we're ignoring the masterpiece that was 3, 4, and 5.
So that's basically what Linda Hamilton said, who played Sarah Connor, that all the other Terminator movies were forgettable, except for hers, 1 and 2. And the new movie is going to be called Dark Fate, by the way. So I think it's a little bit mean, even if they're not the best movies. I think Genesis is memorable how crazy it was. And I did like 3, even though because of the ending. But 4 was really bad. So, I mean,
I thought she was being charitable. You're just lucky I didn't review those. You might have seen me actually get mean towards the movie.
See, I like Genesis because it was so stupid.
Yeah, but I, as everybody knows, I appreciate a craptastic movie. But
okay,
isn't this the one with Jason Clarke? Because, I mean, he's the king of craptastic acting.
I like, here's the thing about the Terminator sequels after 2. It's not like, here's the thing about restarting, I think. Well, it's not like the Terminator sequels really follow even each other. They always kind of like the third one doesn't really flow well into the fourth, and then the fourth one doesn't really have anything to do with the fifth, and they all kind of do their own thing. And part of the problem with that is that like every sequel they have an idea for the next one, but the next one gets shelved, I'm pretty sure. So like none of those three movies have anything to do with each other, as much as they do with the original two. So I mean, ignoring them, it's not like that's something new. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So whatever. I don't know how good it will be. I mean, James Cameron, he's gotten some gems like Piranha 2, but I don't know.
Piranha 2.
Yeah. Hey, let's be talking Piranha 2 here, Ada.
Okay.
Piranha 2. I'm with
Terminator 2 is a classic.
So's Piranha 2. It's a drive-in classic.
So, Krista, what are your thoughts on Terminator movies?
I actually have never seen any Terminator movies.
Oh,
you need to see the first two. Trust us on this. Especially the first one. It's
I'm vaguely aware of the plot of the first one.
But you gotta see it. I mean, it is Linda Hamilton is like, wow. I mean, and Schwarzenegger, when he shows up for more than a paycheck, he can be awesome.
James Cameron kind of has he has this excellent ability to be able to make sequels that outshine the originals. And I'm pretty sure he's the only director I so far who has that ability. Like, for example, we have Terminator 2, we have Aliens, we have Piranha 2, we have...
Yeah, exactly.
We have, what else?
And my theory is, and you also notice how many movies Cameron has that also begin with the letter A.
Yeah, he has Alita, and if he makes a sequel to that, it'll probably be good.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking forward to it, because, like I said, his sequels are always better.
Yeah, exactly. I think my theory is that the theory behind that is, he didn't do Aliens 1, but my theory is that he always uses the first one as kind of like a rough draft, I guess. And then the second one is when he really okay, I got my idea out of the way. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So one interesting note about this movie, I don't know if it's a spoiler or not, but they don't have a John Connor cast in this movie. So I guess John Connor was not going to be the savior of mankind. It was going to be his mom, after all.
Oh, that's John Connor being the Terminator, that was a good plot point.
They dragged that too much.
Too bad it was that plot twist was revealed in the trailer.
Yeah, for Genesis. Talk about a spoiler there. So yeah, it's the reason why this is being made is because James Cameron now owns the rights to it, because they couldn't make a sequel to Genesis fast enough. So James Cameron is producing this movie, but he's not directing it, but he owns the rights again, so he wants to use it to try to fix things. And at this point, if this one is not an amazing movie, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
one of those franchises that I think is dead. It's kind of like, the Alien franchise isn't doing too good. The most recent movies are okay, but they really kind of peaked with the second one. So
yeah,
they're. how many different variations of aliens can you? Oh, this one bursts from your back and is white. It's like, okay.
This one comes out of your nose is in pink.
Yeah. This alien. It doesn't come from.
Yeah.
What's it? It gets in your bloodstream and then you become pregnant or something like that. Weird. Anyway, yeah.
Franchise is as dead as Highlander.
Yeah.
No, it's more undead. It just won't die. Keeps coming back.
Speaking of undead franchises, we got a trailer for a new movie.
Which movie, James?
Star Wars 9.
Star Wars 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
Terrible name. I hate it.
I hate the name too.
I hate that name. Yeah, it's stupid. Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, okay, we get to see the stake driven through the heart of Star Wars finally.
I saw a good meme that was like, remember Lando? Remember Palpatine? Please, guys, we're desperate.
Yeah, exactly.
I do not. I'm not hopeful for. I do hope, honestly, though, that Palpatine is there. And you guys think, oh, well, that's stupid. I don't care. Like, quit acting like this is a quality franchise, anymore. I don't care. Just have Palpatine be there. Don't even explain how he's there. Just have him there. Like, I don't care. I want Palpatine to be there. Just and I mean I want him to give like the most hammiest performance yet, like the episode 3 like unlimited power. Like I want that Palpatine.
And then we can have Yoda, Skywalker. Just have him a 3-way lightsaber duel, and just have it for 2 hours.
Yeah. Have him do the thing where he stands up and like does a triple 360 corkscrew spin in the air from a prone position.
Yeah.
Do that again. It's just what I thought about this trailer is like, and I think a lot of people, they don't care. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm getting so tired of these franchises that the movie I'm actually looking forward to this summer is Jim Jarmus's zombie movie because I want to see Iggy Pop fight people.
Yeah.
So, Krista, what are your thoughts on Star Wars? Krista, have you watched the last few Star Wars movies, or are you big in Star Wars person, or no?
I haven't seen any of like the recent ones. No.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I will say this: the trash fire is fun to laugh at. Yeah.
I like the movies, so yeah.
It's fun to hate something, honestly.
Oh, you like the prequels, James?
Yeah, but the prequels are funny.
No, they're suck. They suck more.
Yeah. I burst out in tears because I waited in line. I camped out in a tent with my friends, and this is what we got. I wanted to kill. The Ewoks were bad. This was nothing on Ewoks. Oh my god.
The prequels are good, and anyone who disagrees with that,
I feel like the majority of humanity disagrees with you.
Well, the majority of humanity is wrong because the prequels, they are meme machines. How can you not like them? They are so enjoyable in the sense of like just the line delivery, all the great lines that have become memes.
Look, the only thing about episode 1 that's worthwhile is the pod race. Because, I mean, it's just as good as the Ben-Hur chariot race.
This is pod racing.
Oh, but that was a great... But the thing is, the cinematography in that movie is god awful.
Now this is getting out of hand. Now there's two of them.
And it's like, oh my God. I just prefer to just read the meme straight up. Just stay away from the movies.
So, okay, getting back to episode 9, which started this. So, Rise of Skywalker. Okay, so how are they going to have a rise if one of the characters are dead and the other character actor is dead? How do you rise that? That doesn't make any sense.
Another Skywalker.
No, it sounds like a porn parody of a Star Wars movie.
My prediction is that there is another Skywalker.
Or Kylo Ren decides he's been Skywalker now.
Or it's Palpatine.
Skywalker.
Yeah, he's been a Skywalker.
Here's the thing. You can't. If anything, the prequels are great because they build up Palpatine, and he's the most hammy character in the entire franchise. Like Episode 6, Palpatine was a complete ham as well. It's not. He's like the best. So I'm glad that they're bringing back one of the best elements of the film.
So one interesting note about this, apparently they actually hired back good old George Lucas to help finish this movie. So
oh God,
George Lucas has a hand in this movie.
Yes.
Oh God.
So,
George Lucas is what made Star Wars, so I'm glad.
But George Lucas also made the prequels.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the prequels are great. See, here's the thing. Here's the thing that you people don't understand. They tried to be good, and for trying, I give them bonus points.
Okay.
Hey, I understand that. I do, James. I really do. But the thing is, Jar Jar kind of tips it into the, I just want to start punching people in the face.
Okay, but they drastically reduced his role in the other two films, so it's not like he sticked around really. I mean, he got one line in the third film.
Mm-hmm.
You maybe shut up one time, and then he appeared in the special editions.
I know, but I do agree with you about Palpatine. He's awesome.
Yeah, Palpatine is great, especially in the third one. It's like, I am the Senate.
Okay.
The Senate will decide your fate.
I'm expecting him to start going, exterminate, exterminate, exterminate.
No! All right.
Come on, we have to derail this completely.
So, getting back to this teaser. This teaser shows you nothing about the plot. We know nothing going on in this movie.
Do you think there's even a plot?
The Last Jedi was so bad that, I mean, I don't know what you could do after that train wreck.
And J.J. Abrams has already said, "Oh, we're not going to recreate Leia with CG."
That would have been awful if they had done that.
So we're going to we are going to craft our movie around outtakes of Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
That's better.
Yeah.
That's better.
That's
better.
This is a quote from J.J. Abrams.
Yeah,
that is awkward.
Yes. They're going to take outtakes.
I have no idea how you would pull that off.
Oh. Here's the difference between me and other people. I fully embrace that this is probably going to be bad, and I don't care. I want it to be. So go ahead, do whatever.
So that's part of the reason why we haven't done anything about this movie until right now. We have not gotten anything, and it's April 2019. Yeah. We're recording this on April 13th, and the movie comes out in December, and this is the first teaser. We have nothing before this point.
Yeah, we don't know anything.
So
we don't know any. I think the reason why they're being so hush hush about it is because of the Solo disaster.
Yeah,
I think that they really that. Really, that movie legitimately bombed.
Yeah,
there's no question about it. We were talking about bombs before. They probably spent close to a $500 million making that film because of the reshoots and everything, and
it didn't even break even.
Yeah, it didn't even break even. Really bad. They to show how bad it was. You know what they did in China? Because of how The Last Jedi bombed in China. They took off the name Star Wars from Solo and just called it Ranger Solo. It still bombed. So yeah, it was not. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we got that mess out of the way. What do we want to talk about now?
The next thing is Suicide Squad remake.
Yeah, looks like a retired Deadshot character. And it actually looks like everybody's coming back except Harley Quinn and Will Smith.
Jared Leto Joker?
No.
He played Slipknot.
I want Jared Leto Joker back. He's my favorite version.
Well, your Captain Boomerang's coming back, James, because he's Captain Boomerang. Boomerang's come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wait. So the new Suicide Squad is going to be a direct sequel?
No, a remake.
All we are getting is gobbledygook out of Warner Brothers about this. James Gunn has come official. He's still kind of, dare I say it, gun shy on social media. Yeah, he's still keeping his mouth shut, which you can't really blame him.
Yeah.
The question is who is Idris Elba now playing if he's not Deadshot? Joe Manganiello was cast as Deathstrike, so is he? Deathstroke the Terminator. So is he going to be? Are they going to be making him now? And that whole end scene, Justice League, is squat, or hopefully, I'm hoping to give him I would love to see James Gunn cast him as Thunderbolt. Peter Cannon, one of the Charlton hero that never did anything with.
If they remake the Suicide Squad, they have to repeat its best lines. For example, what are we? Some sort of Suicide Squad? Or we're bad guys. It's what we do.
You're bad guys, yeah.
Yeah, we're bad guys. It's what we do.
Yeah.
See, the thing Suicide Squad has a very special place in my heart. It is, to me, one of the, it's very fun. It's a very fun movie.
Mm-hmm.
Very fun.
Yeah.
And I want them to make a sequel to that movie. I want more, I want more Killer Croc and, what's her name?
Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
So, yeah, James, I guess you don't know that Amanda Waters is going to come back, and
Okay.
James Gunn is directing this and writing this. So, and then he's going to do that before he goes back to doing Guardians 3. So he's going to finish that first, then go back to doing Guardians 3. And it's basically going to be like the original Suicide Squad didn't exist. So just going to be a complete remake, reboot, whatever.
Well,
and who knows? Because Warner Brothers right now is just saying whatever they think people want to hear to keep from rioting on social media.
Yeah. I mean,
I think it's kind of weird that they're rebooting a film that's so recent.
Talk about Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what character he could play, because Idris Elba was going to be Deadshot, and now they retired that character, going to be another character, so I don't know who he could be, that...
Yeah.
There's hundreds of characters he could be. Maybe Batista doesn't want to be Peacemaker. He could be Peacemaker. He's one of the old Charlton characters that DC now owns. He could be Peter Cannon, Thunderbolt. That's another character from Charlton that DC never did anything with.
He could also be Condiment King.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Condiment King. Or how about what's his name?
Solomon Grundy?
No. What's Captain Cold? What?
Sure, I guess.
What about Captain Cold? Could be that. Captain Cold or who else? Who's another Flash villain? Kite Man?
Kite Man. Web Wizard.
Clock King, Calendar Man.
He could be a Mirror Master.
Prankster.
Yeah, Prankster.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's been cast as the Polka Dot Man.
Or maybe he's a Microwave Man.
Some of the other.
There's a lot of obscure villains they could use, so it's not. And again, it's like DC has an advantage over Marvel, and they have access to all their characters.
Yeah.
They might as well just go crazy and have him be Mr. Mexiplex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Who is Mr. Mexiplex, just in case anyone doesn't know?
He's a fourth-dimensional imp.
It just runs havoc.
With the purple hat and floats around. He's just doing crazy stuff all the time. He always messes with Superman, though. That's the main guy.
He's a frenemy, Batmite, who messes with Batman.
Okay, I think we're done here. We're just naming random bad C-list characters now. So
I feel like that's what you do every time you talk about Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad is
Magpie. Because come on, you got to cast a character that people are actually going to cheer when they die.
You got it. Why don't if this is a reboot, does that mean Cliffjumper is back?
Anything's back.
Yeah,
man. It's all back.
Yeah. I like the 10 seconds he was in the food movie.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess that's going to be it for this pretty wacky episode 80.
High energy.
Yeah, a lot of fun today. Thanks everyone for listening. Bye.
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 Goodbye.
All right, before this podcast ends, I want to give a thank you to my patrons. Right now, we have one patron, which is David from Spain, and I want to thank you for your financial support. All right, so that's going to be it for this podcast.
We now have a Patreon, and the link is in the description. Thanks for watching.
And we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, little gonna put it everywhere. Just look for us 3D or 2D. And of course, review us on iTunes. And if you want to write us a letter, our email address is email3dortwo d@gmail.com. So that's gonna be it. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.